survival.
Hello. In this first tips video, you'll be seeing gameplay from 3 videos I had stored on my hard drive. Many of the clips will be out of order, organized to focus on specific topics, while other clips will be analyzed in a more general fashion. The Titan gameplay is from the only survival match I've played so far in Season 10, and the Warlock gameplay is from a milestone and bounty grinding session. Worth noting, the Cauldron game was my first time playing it in D2, and my first and so far only game with Tommy's matchbook. Let's get started. Let's start off by focusing on cover usage. In this first clip, you'll see an example of overextension. I should have floated closer to the wall I was hugging before I went airborne. I also had the option to Icarus dash back into cover, but did not. Limiting your angles to incoming fire is crucial to staying alive in PvP. Try to always be in cover of some sort. Hug walls, slide, and attempt to move from cover to cover instead of being out in the open. When outnumbered, attempt to isolate players into 1v1 engagements. In this example, take note of how I used my admittedly misplaced barricade to focus on just one opponent at a time. The lightning grenade was used to zone my opponents, forcing them to take damage or destroy my grenade if they wanted to push me. Note how I used pre-fire and explosive rounds on the target in cover, and how I pushed the weak opponent when I knew I was outnumbered, weak, and out of cover.
No more lives on your side. 30 seconds remaining. No lives left for anyone.
In this clip, I slide from cover to cover, knowing my teammate just died near me. Sliding or jumping through choke points will make it harder for any player hard-scoping at head level to dome you. I foolishly decide to engage my opponents after my team died instead of retreating and regrouping with my team. However, I attempt to make the most out of a bad situation when I notice I can take a 1v1 with the player on my right by using the tunnel as cover. Verticality is a crucial element to Destiny PvP. It can be combined with cover to limit your hitbox, or used to force your opponents to adjust their aim to land shots on you and catch them by surprise. This is known as using your vertical space. Breaking line of sight with your target and floating high will catch many players off guard. Effective use of vertical space can make you very hard to predict. Most weapon types suffer accuracy penalties while airborne, and Icarus mods can somewhat alleviate that drawback. Here are a few clips that use vertical space and cover to juke my opponents. Also take note of the times I put the shotgun away and swap to my sidearm, and how I use my grenade to soften up multiple opponents during the cave pillar fight on Radiant Cliffs.
2 for 1. So much glory, so little time. Now you're fighting with heart, Guardian. The route is on! Finish it! Three opponents down. Your moments of clarity are weapons, Warlock.
Editor's note. I've already reached half of my allotted voice tracks in a single SHAREfactory video, and the vid has only reached slightly over 4 minutes runtime out of the current 16 minutes in the file. This clip isn't very exciting, but introduces lots of small things I'd like you to pick up on. I do a brief hop when walking by the first door, and I slide around the tunnel. While approaching angles I may need to fire through, I attempt to not be caught in sprint, so my weapon will be ready ASAP. I attempt to use heat rises to get unexpected angles for team shots, but my inexperience with the map limited my results. It did give me decent cover from anyone shooting out of the center. After checking the balcony angle, I immediately move as I expect a shotgunner to rush me if I get tunnel vision. Take note of the location of the player who kills me. They use the platform to limit their hitbox and force me to adjust my aim upwards to challenge them. When expecting a player to rush you, try to generate negative space by backpedaling. Grenades also work well if you know the location they will be rushing from. Radar can be used offensively and defensively. Crouching will briefly take you off the enemy's radar, and this can lead to them not realizing you are there when they push your teammate. It can also be useful for reloading. Take note at how dumb of a play peeking the door was. I wasn't even near cover. When fighting supers, many options exist. If you're near teammates, then team shotting is usually your best play. Popping your own super is generally best done when you know the location of your enemy and can catch a player overextending. Popping a super near cover and making your head a hard target to hit are also good ideas. To finish off this video, I'll analyze some clips from my Titan survival match. To start, I'm in a 1v2 scenario, and I know that the hunter player has a tether ready that could counter my smash. My first instinct is to attempt isolating a player into a 1v1, and that is exactly what happens. While floating in the air to see if the remaining player will rush, I notice the zone is partially captured, which leads me to assume the player is on the zone. I'm caught off guard by the player being to my right instead of on said zone, but luckily they hesitate to use their super and I win the 1v1. Next off, I'd like to talk about player learned behavior. This is recognizing patterns and habits that other players commit, or when they catch on to your habits. I noticed that the enemy team is passive, likes the beach area, isn't quick to pick up on flanks, has ranged weapons, and tends to struggle when I get close. I pop a barricade while grabbing heavy in case they are watching it. Not remembering them to have anything super strong in CQC, I push up on them with Tractor and get an easy team wipe.
No lives left for anyone. Rest when you're dead. Triple down. Did you hear that? My soul just shivered.
Knowing we are in a 3v1 where my two teammates are together, I attempt to get a pinch angle since my teammates have also tended to be pretty passive and my loadout is a closer range one.
Opposing team annihilated. You have them where you want them. Finish this.
At the start of the next round, I want to establish a radar presence to get in their heads and potentially get a flank, but back off when I don't have a close range fight.
Three lives left.
I attempt to regroup with my team, then quickly take another attempt at a flank, while hugging the right for cover while I close in. I hop over the wall just in case they are hard-scoping the main travel lanes like they have been,
This is their
then move towards the beach to help my teammate. I attempt to use the truck as cover as the Warlock dodges right into my melee range.
1 minute.
A bit of Peacekeeper Straferoonie, and it's off to find the respawn.
For your enemy. Destroy them. That's why we have fire team.
Fortunately, we kill the hunter before the tether goes off, and fortunately, the sniper misses, likely not expecting me to push instead of grabbing heavy. For the next player, I attempt to find a new angle to flank and team shot from, but don't hit my shots well. The more angles your team can hit the same target from, the better.
30 seconds.
That's going to wrap up my first attempt at a Crucible Tips video. Apologies for it sounding like the baby of an infomercial and advert due to me actually scripting this, but let me know if you found that helpful and I'll think about making another one.
I tell
I'll link a playlist in the description of vids from other people that I've watched over the years that you may find helpful. Being this scripted and formal feels weird, but a necessary evil for editing from a PS4. Stay safe out there. Bye!